station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Now at 10 on DC News Now, former President Donald Trump booked at the Fulton County, Georgia jail.
What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong.
The case accusing the former president of heading a criminal enterprise.
And good evening, everyone. Happy to see you on this Thursday. We are tracking a few storms for your early morning commute going into your Friday. We'll have all the details coming up.
This is an issue not just for Montgomery County, not just for Frederick County, but for the world.
And Maryland parents upset over a judge's decision. The rally today over the ability to opt students out of lessons involving LGBTQ plus characters in books.
And celebrating the March on Washington 60 years later. The progress since the first march all those years ago, and the work advocates say still has to be done. Now on DC News Now at 10, former President Donald Trump's mugshot has been released. This is the first time a former president has ever had a mugshot taken. Trump surrendered tonight in charges that he illegally schemed to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for DC News Now at 10 on DCW 50. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Ariel Carbone in for Tasmin Mahfouz. The jail booking shows that Trump is 6'3" tall and weighs 215 pounds. He's listed as having blue eyes and blonde or strawberry hair. He was booked on more than a dozen charges stemming from his efforts to reverse Georgia's 2020 election results. Now, Trump has agreed to a $200,000 bond and other releasing conditions. Those include not using social media to target the co-defendants and witnesses in this case. The former president spoke to the press right before leaving Atlanta.
If you challenge an election, you should be able to challenge an election. I thought the election was a rigged election, a stolen election, and I should have every right to do that. As you know, you have many people that you've been watching over the years do the same thing, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Stacey Abrams or many others. When you have that great freedom to challenge, you have to be able to, otherwise you could have very dishonest elections.
And Trump made a return to X, formerly known as Twitter, and shared an image of his mugshot. He also posted on his campaign page with a memo to his supporters and wrote, quote, "Today at the notoriously violent jail in Fulton County, Georgia, I was arrested despite having committed no crime." We will have more on this story ahead tonight at 10:30 right here on DC News Now.
All right, let's take a live look right now. Rosslyn, Virginia on this Thursday night. Pretty good looking night out there, pretty clear. Let's get a first check in the forecast. Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb.
Yeah, and Janessa expecting some rain overnight tonight.
Yeah, overnight into early morning hours. I don't think it'll have enough energy to produce stormy activity, but definitely some rain, almost a similar situation of what we saw this morning. You still have this massive storm that's coming out of Ohio, Detroit area. Things are starting to currently pick up across the region. Now, Montgomery County, you're seeing a few raindrops. This is really all we've been dealing with all night long. It has been on the light to scattered side. Here's the problem area. Detroit right now under a severe thunderstorm warnings going off, and so severe thunderstorm watch that's in place across Ohio. So there's that really expansiveness of this storm where they have the potential of turning areas of Pittsburgh into West Virginia into a severe thunderstorm watch. It's a good pocket of heavy rain, but as it moves south, I think it's really going to lose its moisture and speed. So right now our temperatures are on the cooler side, back at 75 for Manassas, Leesburg 79. Good evening, DC metro area into the upper 70s. Tonight we are going to remain very mild. The humidity starts to rise as well as we go into your Friday. We have multiple rain chances for Friday and a huge warm up. We'll take a look at that forecast in a moment.
A federal judge has denied a motion to allow parents to opt their kids out of lessons where LGBTQ plus books are used in Montgomery County schools. Our Daniel Hamburg was at a rally this afternoon at school board headquarters. And Daniel, this is the same group that's been protesting for months, trying to get that opt-out option for their kids.
Well, Marielle, it's mainly a group of people protesting for what they say is religious freedom. In May, 3 families filed a federal lawsuit against the superintendent and school board. Their argument is those storybooks fall into the same category as sex education, which the state does allow for opting out.
Today, is unfortunate.
Many parents were hoping for a temporary ruling before school starts on Monday to allow them to opt their kids out of lessons involving LGBTQ plus characters in storybooks. But a judge said no.
Very disappointing. We didn't expect much, honestly. There has been an appeal filed.
Parents, including Wael El-Kasheri, say books like Prince and Knight aren't appropriate for their kids.
A lot of parents are very worried about the instruction they'll be getting. Not just instruction, not just reading a book, but discussions and instruction given by teachers who might not necessarily be qualified to speak about these topics.
The plaintiffs argue the books concern family life and human sexuality, which MCPS does allow opt-outs for.
We have a right to opt out if those things they're introducing is against our theology principles.
But U.S. District Judge Deborah Boardman said that claim and others are not likely to succeed on the merits. That's good news for some parents.
I think the ruling speaks to the importance of inclusive curriculum, and it also speaks to, I think no one really wants opt-outs to be the first choice.
When schools implement LGBTQIA+ supportive policies, inclusive text and practices, all students benefit. They experience better health outcomes, both mentally and physically.
Now, this isn't the end of the case. The full lawsuit could take years to resolve. MCPS released a statement saying, in part, it's committed to cultivating an inclusive and welcoming learning environment and creating opportunities where all students see themselves and their families in curriculum materials. In the studio, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Developing tonight, Fairfax police are investigating a stabbing in Grovetown. Police say a man and woman were stabbed on the corner of Mint Place and Holly Hill Drive and then stole their property. The victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. If you know any information, call police.
Well, 2 restaurants in an Alexandria shopping center are closed after a pair of unexpected incidents happened within 24 hours of each other. Tonight, their small business neighbors are sharing messages of support. This all happened at the Van Dorn Shopping Center. And that is where our Northern Virginia reporter Max Marcilla joins us tonight live. And Max, so walk us through what happened.
So it all started yesterday morning when a car went through the front of this restaurant. Tonight, it's all boarded up. Then this morning, just 2 stops over at Calabash, an African restaurant, a fire. People in this shopping center say once, well, that's something, but twice, and it really caught them off guard. It's dark at Calabash. Smoke from an early morning fire leaving an ominous tint at this locally owned restaurant.
Nah, it's crazy, man. I don't know what happened.
It's the talk of the shopping center because just one day earlier and 2 doors down, a car hit the front of El Texano, leaving a barrier where a welcoming entrance stood just days ago. We don't know how long these businesses will be closed, but what we do know is that when they do open, they will have no shortage of customers and friends ready to welcome them back.
Are you excited to go back to school though?
Because the same sense of community you can see and feel inside Hair Link Salon is ready to help out at one of their favorite spots in the city.
We are like family in this community.
We met Rookie Ray outside of the salon where she works. And in between braids, she told us about the owner of Calabash, a man who she's known for years. She says he's friendly and respectful to everyone.
Most of the time when I will order food from them, if I'm extremely busy, even though they don't, offer delivering, the owner himself will deliver my food, So yeah, that's what we do here. We look out for each other.
Inside the shop, it's business as usual for Abi Haroui, but he says this morning was tough for him.
Calabash is a modern restaurant, as I know, because most of us, we hang out over there most of the time.
Though he says once the tape is gone, the smoke is cleared, and the doors are open, he'll do his part.
We need to help a small business like that. It's not easy to come back.
Tonight, the good news is the damage in both of the restaurants not nearly as bad as it could have been. At the restaurant El Texano, it's just the front, the windows at the front that were damaged. Then here you can see this sign from Alexandria Fire and EMS. They gave it a level 2, which says minimal damage at the time of inspection, which was earlier today. But people here, they say even though it could have been worse, they understand the pain, the struggle for these small business owners, and they just want them to open as quick as possible so they can give them some help. Reporting live in Alexandria, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
All new tonight, a 20-year-old Virginia man under arrest charged with abduction and raping a minor. Brandon Estrada de Leon of Leesburg is charged with Abduction, 1 count of contributing to delinquency of a minor, and 3 counts of rape. Police say this comes from a case of a missing juvenile who ran away earlier this year. That minor was later found safe, but a police investigation found De Leon had harbored the juvenile, whom he knew, and misled police about where that juvenile was. Police also claim they found evidence he sexually assaulted the victim multiple times. He's being held without bond. And we're also learning about an attempted kidnapping in Wheaton, Maryland. Montgomery County Police say they received the call just after 9:45 Tuesday night. Teenage female victim was reportedly walking on Inwood Avenue when an unknown suspect came up to her and tried to grab her. There is no suspect in custody tonight. If you have any information, you're asked to call Montgomery County Police.
And this Saturday marks the 60th anniversary of the historic March on Washington. That is when Dr. Martin Luther King gave his iconic I Have a Dream speech demanding racial equity. And this weekend, thousands are expected to flock to the Lincoln Memorial to celebrate the milestone and march again. Today, I spoke to activists reflecting on how far we've come as a nation and where we still need to go. 60 years ago, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. marched through Washington, D.C.
It was a pivotal moment for social justice.
D.C. advocate Philip Pinnell wasn't at the 63 march. He was only 12 years old. But King's demand for racial equality in all aspects of life had an impact.
Of course, we all remember the iconic speech, I Have a Dream.
Pinnell says there's been considerable progress since that first march.
We actually had an African-American president.
And in terms of sexual equality.
For the 60th anniversary, there are a number of LGBT organizations participating.
The 20th anniversary of the march back in 1983 didn't initially include any LGBTQ speakers. Pinnell and others protested at D.C. Delegate Walter Fauntroy's office and were arrested. And this year, at least half a dozen LGBTQ groups are partnering on the march.
I feel that getting arrested was worth it.
Still, Pinnell says for many people, King's dream hasn't been fulfilled.
Some of our neighborhoods become like rivers of blood. This is not what Dr. King worked for.
We haven't made much progress on what my father called genuine equality.
King's daughter, Dr. Bernice A. King, agrees.
Every category of American life, Black people are still at the bottom.
Activists like King say Saturday's march is a chance to educate the next generation of activists.
Have to keep the pipeline of young activists to understand that they have a voice and a vote.
Yeah, and Chris Pinnell says he won't be at the march in person. He'll actually be watching it live stream from Busboys and Poets in Anacostia, so you can check it out there. But if you want to go in person, all the programming, it starts at 8 a.m. at the Lincoln Memorial, and then the march itself starts at 1 p.m. So a lot going on in the National Mall area this weekend.
It's going to be good. Busy day.
Yeah,
Busy day indeed.
Sure.
All right. Thanks, Marielle.